What to do when the click fails. That's what this episode is about. And that's what happened to me last week on a gig. And this particular gig is one of the premier wedding bands here in Nashville. And their whole sort of formula for their show is that they have these big long medleys of songs that they play back to back to back to back, almost sort of DJ style, where literally there's no dead space between songs. And maybe each song is performed not in its entirety, but more like maybe like a verse and a chorus, or two verses and two choruses, something like that, where there's some semblance of, you know, a part of the tune that everybody recognizes. And then they move on to the next song. And more often than not, moving on to the next song, the songs are not really related tempo wise or feel wise. So as a drummer, this becomes one of the more challenging aspects of the gig, is to sort of bridge the gap between the songs and to make the transition from one song to the next as smooth as possible for the rest of the band, and obviously for the dancers and the listeners who are out in the audience, so that it's all just happening, smoothly, one transition after the next. And so obviously, maybe not obviously, but obvious to me when I was presented with this gig, but maybe not obvious to somebody else who doesn't know. But so I'm sorry for saying obviously, but what I want to say is that there was a great deal of prep and homework and listening and learning, and a good degree of practicing as well of these tempo changes in the songs, in going from one to the next in the order that they're in, that they're played in the show. And so there's these sort of blocks of music, and one block could be anywhere from maybe 4 or 5 songs all the way up to maybe 20 songs, maybe. Yeah, I haven't never counted, but I think maybe one of the larger blocks probably has like maybe 15 or 20 songs in it, total. So getting back to the click, the whole show is put to a click for the most part, because really we're playing along with a certain degree of backing tracks and sweeteners. Maybe there's some percussion on the tracks, maybe some rhythm guitar parts or some organ parts or this kind of thing. I don't think there's too much vocally happening on the tracks, if anything. I can't really remember offhand, but and the click track is just there for the drummer and for the rhythm section and anyone really who wants it, to help as a guide to stay right exactly in sync with the music as it's changing and as it's moving from song to song. So what happened last weekend was we were in the middle of one of these blocks, these medleys, and you'll see it here in the next part of the video, in the performance part of this video. You'll see me. I'm grooving along. We're playing the song "September" by Earth, Wind and Fire, and it happens in the second verse of the song. So there's an intro. We do the verse, chorus. We go back to the verse section of the song before we close it out with the last chorus. And you'll see me on the second verse. I'm grooving along, and then all of a sudden, I look around. I look up, and then I look over, and I see the band leader, because I don't control the tracks. I don't control the click or the computer or any of that. It's all controlled over by the desk, that the mixing board that's on stage with us, sort of side stage in the wings. And so the band leader's over there, and I think he's trying to figure out what's going on with the click, why it's like off all of a sudden. The click was totally like off from the groove that we were playing, and it wasn't me, I assure you. Um, and um, and then at that point, you'll see me look at him and make eye contact and just tell him, like, with my drumstick in hand, as you know, mid groove, like, cut it, just kill it, because we'll just play it live. You know, the band will keep going. Just kill the computer and we can keep going. Now this is key, because as a musician playing with these tracks and with the clicks in these medleys, in these blocks of songs that make up these medleys, the show must go on. And so what's important, especially here in a circumstance like this, is you really have to know the music well in order to carry the band through these next tempo changes, to get through the next songs, and however long it may be. Fortunately, this was a block of songs that was maybe 5 or 6 songs or so. And I think when it happened was maybe in the 3rd song. So the video will start out in the middle of a tune called Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang, an old R&B, funk favorite. So that's where the video starts, in that song, and then you'll hear me transition into the beginning of September with that intro that is a classic intro of the song September by Earth, Wind and Fire. And that's later on you'll see when it starts to go awry. But then I include in the video the next song change, which so September comes to a hard stop, and that is meant to hard stop even in the medley with the clicks. So if the click was working, we would definitely come to a hard stop with those hits. Da 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 da. And then normally, when the click is working correctly, I would wait for the next count in from the click to click, 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 and we go into the next tune, which is, I can't think of the name. Well, you'll hear it in the next, in the video. But it's a much faster, very, very different tempo, different feel, completely unrelated to the September feel and tempo. So the whole point of this video is to demonstrate that this kind of thing happens, even to my knowledge, on the biggest of stages. I've never played with Justin Timberlake, but I'm sure this has happened before to maybe him or to artists like him who work on a big, big stage like that, where there's all kinds of things running off of the click, both musically and in the lights. Maybe there's some video. This does happen from time to time in bigger productions where so much on stage that you're hearing and seeing is all synced through the click and through the music itself, and it's all lined up and correlates to the music exactly, perfectly in time. So yeah, this is just an example of how technology is a wonderful thing when it works. But when it doesn't work, you need to have your butt covered. And so, it was fortunate that myself and everyone in the band knew the music well enough that we could pull off the rest of the medley without the audience knowing a single thing has gone wrong. Right? And you just keep your poker face and it's all good. And then, hopefully the problem is solved and you move on with the show. So that's what happened here, and so that's what I want to share with you. So here it is. Watch me kind of look around and freak out for a moment and wonder, I just remember being what is going on with the click? Why is it randomly of course, it felt like 5 minutes when that was happening, but it was just a brief second. But yeah, so here it is. Here's the video. Check it out. I hope you like it. Please subscribe if you like my videos. I've been getting some nice comments and some nice feedback from some of the videos I posted recently, and I appreciate everything that is being said, both good and bad. So I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the subscription. Give me the likes, the thumbs up is always nice, and love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and stay tuned. There'll be more videos like this. Very briefly, I will be very soon demonstrating my new Canopus Birch Yaiba snare drum. So I can't wait to show you guys that in a more in-depth studio environment, a more controlled environment where we can really get down and hear the drum in all of its true glory. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Here's the video. Check it out. Thank you again.